Hey, it's me, Kiana, coming to you with my commentary today. So I'm just going to jump in there. I was going to give a whole spiel about how I'm just getting started on YouTube and just in social media commentary in general, and I was messing it up and rambling on and taking way too long. So what I'm going to do is just jump right into my topic today, which is the whole comment K Michelle had made about men not being good people. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because a lot of what I will probably be focusing on will have to do with relationships and from the viewpoint of younger women, single mothers, things like that. But in general, with what she said, she basically said that she didn't feel like men were good people because they would exploit women and exploit their feelings for them and stuff like that. And she got a lot of backlash for it because people felt like, well, how can you just generalize men? You know, the same old stuff. How can you just generalize men and blah, 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 blah. But this is what I found quite interesting because I like to watch YouTube. Like at this point, I'm watching YouTube and not television all the time. And one of my favorite subjects on YouTube is relationships and more specifically hypergamy and just male female interactions and how to how that dynamic between male and female works and what it's centered on to be successful in it and things like that. So one of the things that I've come across, because I watch pretty much any video from any person. I'm not looking at one particular person. Well, I have my favorites, but I'll look at any video if the subject matter is on par with those things. So I was watching various videos and I was getting with some of them the same almost to the T statement of when they're discussing men testing women. One lady called it the hoe test. So basically the way men will test your boundaries to see how fast they can sleep with you and under what conditions they can sleep with you, and if it's favorable to them they won't have to put out too much effort. So when it comes to that concept, a couple people kept saying, more than like across the board, kept saying, oh, but that doesn't make them bad guys. And it was kind of like becoming a dog whistle type thing to me because, mind you, I'm looking at this, I'm trying to learn. I'm not coming in, of course, I'm coming in with preconceived notions. I'm coming in with my own biases and things like that. But I'm also coming in with the awareness that I have those notions and I have those biases and open to learning something different and having my view kind of shifted. So but when they kept saying this phrase, and like I said, these are people not affiliated with each other. This is just, so I'm taking that as this is what it is. This is how it is. You know what I mean? As far as how they do this and why they do this and blah 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 blah. But it was that notion of, oh, but that doesn't make them bad guys. And I really had to sit back and kind of digest that. And I'm like, well, it ties into that whole idea of men are logical and and they just, there's no emotion in what they do. Everything they do just makes perfect sense because it's all built on logic. And this idea that women are so emotional and they're just all over the place and they're out of control, and that basically they're not really to be taken seriously. And the idea that those things are right all across the board. And I'm just like, okay, when it comes to the concept in and of itself in a general way of men testing women, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think every individual person, male, female, and anything else that may fall within, has the right to and the responsibility of making sure that you know they are dealing with something of value, making sure that they're not being taken advantage of, making sure that they are in alignment, that they're here and they're in alignment with whatever it is that they're looking for. But I also feel like every individual has a responsibility of, you know, what to say, like the doctor's code, first do no harm. You know what I mean? Like there, it can be a win-win, and I feel like when we're dealing with men in the concept of this whole test and um, you know how they conduct themselves, they are not being. They may be being technically logical, you know, in the sense that human nature, human nature leads you to want to have things work out in your favor, you know, whatever that may be. But the problem I have with it, and the way I feel like it's not necessarily true that this doesn't make them a nice guy, and I kind of agree with K Michelle, is that these guys aren't testing you and then saying, okay, she doesn't meet the criteria, let me move on. They will hang back, you know, they will in some cases even do enough to try to keep you engaged with them. You know what I mean? They will use you while they know that you don't have whatever it is that they are looking for, maybe long term, or just maybe that they just don't want what you want. Because it's okay, not everybody doesn't have to want a relationship, everybody doesn't have to want marriage. But like I said, the problem I am having is that they don't let you go your way and find what you need to find. And now, mind you, there's different types of women. You know, there are some women who are clingy and you know, you know what I mean? But there are a lot of women who, if they knew, like if you just say, oh, I don't want that, they may go, okay, well, you know, you be blessed. Or they may go, okay, well, we can just do this and it's fine. But at least they know what's going on, and they're making that choice. And I feel like, you know, men in general will take that choice away from you, but then they'll turn around and be like, oh, well, you chose, you know, you chose to sleep with that man, you chose to, you know, sleep with those guys, you picked them, that whole mentality. And it's just like, well, you know, which struggle are you going to pick? Because either you want us to be responsible in our choosing, and you want us to vet you and things like that. But when we do that, then you have the people coming in, oh, you know, you got the bitches, you're too independent and stuff like that. Like, this is a condition. It's conditional based on the way we've been treated. But I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. Like, I want to stay on the subject at hand. So when we're talking about K Michelle saying that these men are generally not good, like in I've been researching these things for a long time. You know, I'm a single mother. I'm a two-time single mother. So I've been actively trying to learn what I clearly didn't know, you know, and right my wrongs, you know, get on the right path and whatnot, and be empowered in my choosing of potential mates or whatever. And along the way, I've come across men talking about women and things. So when we're talking about this whole concept of this doesn't make them bad people, this testing and you know, boundary testing and whatever, the thing is, I would say that if, you know, these guys were, like I said, testing for quality, and then if they find the woman lacking, going on about their, like, really going on about their business, not going on about their business, oh, I'm hugging her but I'm doing me, but like, no, miss, you're not what I want, you know, good luck to you, and going on and leaving them alone. Now, mind you, like I said, I know there's two kinds of people, women, maybe more, but the two I want to focus on is the women that will cling, you know, the women that kind of won't allow you to leave them alone, because the thought process of the logic of the men is supposed to be that they don't like confrontation. And for me, that's something else that goes to say, okay, how logical, how manly, you know, men are supposed to be, you know, whatever. And I'm not saying you're supposed to want arguments and drama and things like that, but it's more drama to have this person build up and up and up and up and up all these instances of feeling, even if they're kind of leading themselves on, like you are invested in them in a way that you're not. And then there's this explosion. So then this person gets classified as being emotional and whatever, but this isn't just a little thing. Yeah, she might have said whatever, she might have felt whatever in the beginning if you would have told her that you're rejecting her, because that's what it all boils down to. They're supposedly not wanting to outright reject you for, avoidance of the confrontation. But like I said, if you coming and staying over this woman's house, you coming and fucking her every night, you're doing all of this stuff, that's going to connect y'all in her mind, if nowhere else, and that's going to make her feel some type of way if and when you go off and get married, or you treat her in a way that is not in alignment with what she's thinking y'all are doing. And they know and seek out and teach each other the triggers of these particular type of women. This clingy woman, they know about daddy issues, and they talk about them, in depth. They know about abandonment issues. They know about abuse, trauma, and how that can lead women to devalue themselves and to feel like their only value comes from the pleasure they can give through their sexuality and stuff like that. So it's not like they're going into this, innocent. They're aware. They know what they're doing. So that's why I'm saying, like, that kind of ties into what K. Michelle is saying. This isn't mistaken. They're preying on women. You know what I mean? Like, they're preying on us. They're preying on us. And so for me, personally, as someone, like I said, that's trying to get out there and date and keep an open mind, and and be open to the process and open to new people and stuff, when I start to see the signs of this test, because if you equip yourself, you can pick out when they're trying to test you. You can see, like, and it's so funny to me because I can think of how I used to deal with those things or view those things before, whereas it never, it didn't occur to me, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And where now I'm sitting there looking at them like, no. You know what I mean? So when I see this test, it's like, it's an immediate turn off for me. And I'm not, like I said, again, I'm not trying to say that men should just come in and be completely in love with you because they're attracted to you sexually. Like, I totally get that. It's, there's nothing wrong with them being initially sexually attracted to you and wanting to have sex with you. That's not the problem. It's what they do leading, trying to lead up to that, or how they try to manipulate the situation to get just that and not give anything back. That's the part where I'm just kind of like, how am I supposed to, like, do I even want a man? You know what I mean? Like, it really makes me question. And a lot of people be like, oh, women think they don't need men and stuff like that. It's like, it's not that we don't think we need men. I mean, technically, in some cases, we don't, because we're either doing it all on our own anyway, or we're doing it all on our own anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we kind of don't. So it really comes down to, do you want a man? And it's like, why should I want a man if I can't even get to a point where I feel like we're building something? Because I guess I should have preempted it. I'm not out here having sex like that. I'm not out here, I don't really believe in casual sex like that anymore, because I guess that's a subject for another day, but I don't really do that. And it's to the point where at one point I went about 4 years without having sex easily. You know what I mean? And so I'm not coming out here like, oh, I'm really horny and I'm trying to force a relationship so that I don't feel bad about having sex. Like, no, I'm really sitting back when I meet people, when people approach me, I'm really sitting back like, okay, well, who are you? What do you... how can we connect and try to make something really good happen? I'm looking for experiences. I'm looking to build an experience and create an experience with someone, as opposed to just, spending time. And nowadays, these guys want to set it up in such a way that they're just kind of sitting around you waiting to catch some pussy. So when I say, like, they know, they're looking to exploit certain things. They're looking to exploit your goodwill in faith of them. You know what I mean? Like a general, because I feel like any stranger you meet, as long as nothing negative is going on, you see somebody in the street, you have a general sense of goodwill towards them. You're going to have a general, you should, if you're a happy person or generally not miserable person. You see people, I know when I see people in the street and I make eye contact, I smile. That's just something that I do, because why not? You know what I mean? So when you meet someone and there may be an attraction, or at least you know that they're attracted to you, there's going to be that general sense of goodwill towards that person. Like, okay, I don't know them to be a bad person, so I'm optimistic that they're going to be good. But then when you see basically signs of attempting to manipulate, that's when it's like, oh, no, bro. And like I said, these videos, these coaches, this information that is widespread, it's consistent, so it has to be true, because this is spanning decades. Different people who are unrelated, who don't know each other, who may or may not even know about each other, they're saying the same thing. So this is really how it is. This is what they do. So if this is what they do systematically, as a rule, as a practice, as a standard practice, to me, that makes K. Michelle's argument valid. You know what I mean? Now, where the sketchiness kind of comes in is that, like I said, as a society, we all classify this behavior as standard male behavior. That's just, it's we're wired this way. It's natural, it's evolution, it's this, it's that. You know what I mean? And it's been normalized. So, like I said, now we women get classified as being emotional and irrational, and when we're having natural, reasonable reactions to that kind of a situation. If someone is manipulating you, if someone's taking advantage of you, you're going to feel hurt. You're going to get angry. You're going to lash out. You're going to want to yell. You're going to, if you feel like you are connected with this person and you feel like you're in love with this person, or whatever it is that the women are feeling towards these men, just because they don't reciprocate, it doesn't make it any less real for the woman. And like, I'm not, it just, you can't sit and say, oh, well, you can't just dismiss the reactions of women as being irrational and emotional when you are stimulating. You're doing this to them. You know what I mean? Women aren't just crazy for no reason. Like, I've been in situations before where I was dealing with people and gaslighting. That's what, it's gaslighting on it's not even on the scale anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's gaslighting to the umpth degree. And I've been in situations where, I'm dealing with somebody and I'm feeling like, something ain't right, whatever. But it's not because I'm just stupid. It's not because I just, I'm crazy. It's because I care about this person. I'm invested in this situation. I don't want this situation to end. I want to continue on with this person. So I'm having trouble classifying the actions of what the person is doing. Now, the thing is, in the same guys that'll sit there and say, oh, well, that's on you. That's your fault for allowing it to happen. If we don't allow it to happen, like if we don't want the things that we want from you, if I don't see value in being with you, then I'm not going to tolerate that. You know what I mean? And so you're sitting there and berating us for the very thing that you guys are scamming and scheming to do. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If anything, y'all should just shut up and nod your head and smile, because it benefits you in the way that you're trying to be benefited. But like I said, I feel like I'm kind of in the middle, because I see this stuff happening. I have the feelings I have about it, but I'm not going to solidly commit to feeling like, oh, all men are trash. I mean, I I ain't gonna lie, I do feel like all men are trash. You know what I mean? Like, in general, talking to my friends and talking about the stuff that they do and things, stuff I go through. I mean, like, these niggas is trash. You know what I mean? But, what are you gonna do? So, that being said, those are kind of my little thoughts and musings on the situation, because like I said, like it just feels like hypocrisy, and it feels like gaslighting, and it feels like patriarchy, and I know people probably gonna come out, oh, she's a feminist. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what I am. I heard some feminist ideology that I agree with. I watched plenty of videos on hypergamy and all of that stuff. That seems pretty solid to me, in its logical. It's logical, it's logical for women to not be able, because I experienced that, being a single mother, you have to take on both roles. And so when I'm having to manage all of this, I gotta make the money, I gotta manage it all, I gotta be caring and all of that stuff at the same time. You're not going to be able to do it all, while you're trying to be it all. So if you want women to be soft and warm and open and at ease, it takes way more effort to do that under the conditions that these men are operating in and creating around us and bringing into our lives and our spaces and all of that. So, but like I said, continuously, that's a subject for another day. But anyway, so yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I don't think K. Michelle is wrong in the context of the general standard practices of men all across the board. Now I'm talking about from the supposedly best of them to the worst of them. This is what they do. They test you. They are going to test your boundaries. They're going to try to sleep with you as soon as possible with as minimal effort as possible. This is something that I'm just fully grasping, at my age. And that, like I said, that in and of itself isn't necessarily a problem.